Powerball Millionaire mocked Ozzy Osbourne, then found out who he was, the Beverly Hills lesson, the rock legend and the lottery millionaire. On the golden streets of Beverly Hills, arrogance was about to meet its greatest lesson. The sun didn't just shine here, it auditioned. Before we start, tap subscribe on our channel, Voices of Darkness, and help us hit our first 1,000 subscribers. If this kind of story moves you, like the video and share it with friends. Your support keeps these cinematic tales coming. Sunday morning slid over Los Angeles like satin. Palm trees saluted a sky so blue it looked expensive. Tyler Brooks, 22, Ohio-born and freshly famous for a $47 million Powerball win, glided down Rodeo Drive in a brand-new Lamborghini Aventador, painted the kind of red that made cameras turn their heads. Inside the cockpit, luxury hugged him. Stitched leather, carbon fiber, a smell like victory and gasoline. His phone vibrated. Livestream count 48,000 and climbing. Look where I am, Tyler said, grinning. Beverly Hills, baby. If you're not here, you're nowhere. He revved the V12, a thunderclap echoing through storefronts. The feed exploded with fire emojis. He soaked in the validation like sunlight. He'd bought more of everything in the last 3 months: watches, sneakers, attention. Especially attention. A block later, he coasted near Whole Foods, yes, the one where cars cost more than small homes and groceries could fund an indie film. That's when Tyler saw it, an old Volkswagen Golf, the color of neglected toothpaste, coughing to a halt. The driver's door opened. An elderly man stepped out in worn black tee, scuffed cowboy boots, and round sunglasses that looked like they could tell stories. Tyler smirked. Content. He killed the engine, slid out of the Lambo and sauntered across the lot like a sultan. Hey, old man, Tyler called, the camera following. This is Beverly Hills. You sure you're not lost? The man turned. His voice floated with an easy Birmingham drawl. No, son. I'm exactly where I meant to be. Just doing a bit of shopping for Sharon. He said it gently, almost like he was doing Tyler a favor just by answering. Tyler lifted his chin toward the Lamborghini, letting the sun scatter diamonds across the hood. See that? 400 grand. I'm 22. I'm already more successful than you'll ever be. The old man glanced at the Lamborghini once, then back at Tyler, as if the car were only a note in a loud song. How do you measure success, Tyler? Tyler paused. How do you know my name? The man's mouth tugged in a tiny smile. Saw you in the papers. The Powerball winner from Akron. 47 million, right? Congratulations. Tyler felt heat bloom in his chest. Recognition. That was supposed to be his superpower. Yeah, he said, louder for the camera. That's real success. Money talks. The elderly man nodded, neither impressed nor offended. Aye, money does talk. Sometimes it shouts so loud you can't hear anything else. Before Tyler could answer, an older couple exited a nearby restaurant. The gentleman blinked, then lit up. Ozzy Osbourne, he cried. My God, what an honor. He tugged his wife along, both grinning like lifelong fans given a second youth. Tyler's mouth opened. The comments on his live stream jumped. Ozzy? No way, crazy train. Dude, end the live. Talk to him. Tyler frowned. Who? The gentleman stared at him as if the boy had confessed he'd never seen the ocean. The Prince of Darkness. Black Sabbath. The godfather of heavy metal. Ozzy. Just dipped his head with a shy politeness, held their hands and thanked them as if gratitude was a currency he had never spent. Tyler's throat went dry. The man in the old Volkswagen was a living legend, and yet he looked so ordinary. Tyler puffed himself taller, that old twitch of insecurity disguised as swagger. He flashed the camera a grin, then muted the live stream. Okay, maybe you're famous, he said, but I've got 47 million. That's real power. Ozzy drew out an old leather wallet, edges softened by years. He slid a card into the light, a black American Express Centurion. The kind that doesn't have a limit so much as a philosophy. This one tends to get me by, he said gently. A month can be expensive. Tyler's mind flickered. He knew what that card meant. Very few people had it. Even fewer needed it. And how many followers you got? Tyler grasped for his favorite weapon. I've got 2 million. I don't much live on the internet, Ozzy replied. But my manager says the songs still get played a fair bit. 15 million times a day, last I heard. He said it almost apologetically, as if he didn't want to injure the air. 15 million a day. The number clanged in Tyler's chest. A young woman approached with trembling hands. "Excuse me, are you really Ozzy Osbourne? My mom, she had cancer. She listened to Mama, I'm coming home during treatment. She said it gave her courage." Her eyes glistened. "Thank you." Ozzy's face softened like dusk.
"How's she now, love?"
"In remission," the girl whispered. "Thanks to God, and maybe your song. Give her my love," he said, squeezing her hands. "I wrote that one when Sharon was going through it. Music holds you when words can't." Tyler stared as if the laws of physics had shifted in front of him. He'd bought likes and least attention, but this quiet transfer of meaning couldn't be purchased. "You're from another time," Tyler said, defensive again. "I'm the future." "Future's just tomorrow dressed different," Ozzy said. "Character's what you carry from yesterday to meet it." "Those are just words," Tyler snapped. "What good is being poor with character?" Ozzy tilted his head. "Did the 47 million make you happy, son?" Tyler opened his mouth to say, "Of course," but the answer jammed in his throat. He was sleeping in a rented palace, eating perfect meals alone, surrounded by people who liked his money. The joy had been loud at first, then faint. He felt hunted and empty. "Yeah," he said anyway. "I'm happy." Ozzy's phone rang. He answered with warmth. "Sharon, my love." The voice on the other side was brisk and caring. A doctor's appointment, a reminder, a laugh. "I love you," Ozzy said, and hung up, sunlight bright in his smile. It was such a simple exchange, but something in it knocked gently on Tyler's chest from the inside. 42 years, Ozzy said. She loved me even when I didn't know how to love myself. Tyler looked down at his reflection in the Aventador's paint. A young king without a kingdom, crowned with a follower count. "Spend a day with me," Ozzy said, as casually as offering a cigarette on a cold night. "Let me show you what money can do when it stops trying to be your identity." "I've got nothing to learn," Tyler said, but the words felt paper-thin. Ozzy said kindly. "Another time." He walked back to his Volkswagen Golf and drove away, a legend receding in a humble frame. That night, the house echoed. The pool's water lay black as a blank thought. On his phone, Tyler searched. Videos, tours, stadiums, charity events, children's hospitals. Ozzy's life unspooled. Net worth estimates dwarfed Tyler's windfall. But what snagged his breath were the quiet images. Ozzy holding a guitar at a hospital bedside. Sharon's hand wrapped in his. A fundraiser for cancer research. A studio session where laughter was the loudest instrument. He closed the phone to darkness. The Osbourne house wasn't ostentatious. It was lived in. Roses climbed a fence in a way that time approves of. Sharon opened the door with the kind of welcome that forgives you before you earn it. "You must be Tyler. Come in, dear." He stumbled through an apology, clumsy and sincere. "I was rude. I'm sorry." "We all try on mistakes when we're young," Sharon said. "Don't keep them if they don't fit." Ozzy was in the garden, throwing a ball for dogs who took joy like a religion. He stood, that famous grin erasing distance. "Cup of tea?" Tyler sat at a table that looked like it had heard real conversations. He took a breath. "I'm not happy," Ozzy nodded. "Sudden wealth can be lonely. People start loving the noise around you and forget the song inside you. How do I fix it? By making the money serve something that outlives the applause." The next day smelled faintly of antiseptic and hope. Hallways wore murals to keep fear at a distance. Nurses moved like angels with clipboards. A little girl with no hair held a teddy bear with both arms and half her courage. "Uncle Ozzy," she squealed as if his name were a holiday. He knelt, eyes on the same level as hers. "I promised you a song, didn't I?" They sang a verse of Dreamer like a prayer. Mothers cried without sound. Fathers stood straighter than the walls. Tyler watched a machine beep next to a boy with eyes too old for 6 years. Ozzy touched the boy's shoulder. Not the medical shoulder that doctors grasped, but the human shoulder that fathers do. The boy smiled as if a star had flickered just for him. "Last year I gave 2 million, Ozzy murmured to Tyler. "Helps the rooms. But time is the currency children spend to buy tomorrow. Give them yours." A mother with tired grace approached. "Thank you, Mr. Osbourne. Emily's treatments." "Your fund." Ozzy's hand covered hers. "He didn't say you're welcome." He said, "You're brave." Tyler turned away and wiped at nothing. Rain never falls in Los Angeles when you expect it, but that afternoon the sky remembered how. Tyler's phone buzzed. "Mom, your brother." He didn't get the scholarship, she said, voice small like hope apologizing. We'll manage. Don't worry. There was a reflex in Tyler that wanted to be clever, to say he should work harder because he'd taught himself that fairness was steel. Instead, he heard Ozzy's voice. Make the money serve. Mom, he said softly, I've got him. Tuition, apartment, books, and I'll pay off your mortgage. He listened to his mother cry the kind of tears that cleanse a house. Son, are you okay? I think I might be. They called it Harmony Academy because the name felt like a wish spoken out loud. It was a place for kids who needed music more than they needed permission. A renovated factory in an honest part of town, high ceilings, a corridor of practice rooms humming with first attempts. Tyler poured money into it, but more than that, he poured himself. He showed up. He listened to songs about pain written by teenagers who had taught the world to underestimate them. Ozzy visited during setup days, sleeves rolled, lifting amps as if he were still 20. Don't build a school, he said. Build a home. The rest follows. They opened 6 months later. The mayor brought a ribbon and a speech. Sharon brought flowers and 3 dozen hugs. Ozzy brought silence to the room with a single chord. Tyler stepped to the mic, thinner around the ego, larger in all the important ways. 6 months ago, he said, I thought success was loud. Today I learned it's the quiet in a child's face when they realize their voice matters. Ozzy joined him, one arm around his shoulders. Cameras clicked. For once, Tyler didn't mind if the moment was captured. This, he thought, deserves to be remembered. Tyler's profile began to shed. He posted less about watches and more about wonder. The follower count dipped. The comments changed. You inspired me. I started guitar again. I forgave my dad. I'm still here because of music. He lost the loud crowd and found the chorus. Late at night, when memory tastes like coffee, Tyler rewatched the Whole Foods parking lot in his mind. He thought of the old Golf next to the red Aventador. He understood now. Some engines roar, others hum, but both can take you home if the driver knows where he's going. A year later, candles flickered in a backyard threaded with fairy lights. Friends toasted to the kind of life that was measured in laughs and recoveries. When it was his turn, Tyler stood with a paper in his shaking hand and a steadiness in his eyes. Ozzy, he said, you didn't teach me how to spend money. You taught me how to spend myself. I had a fortune. You gave me wealth. Ozzy chuckled, throat warm with gratitude. You did the work, son. I only held the torch. Sharon kissed Ozzy's cheek. You always do. The dogs barked approval. Somewhere a guitar found a soft G that felt like home. It was a different Sunday, but the same sun. Tyler parked the Lamborghini in the same lot, this time without filming. He walked into Whole Foods like a man who didn't need to announce himself to be real. A teenage cashier with chipped nail polish looked up from a tabloid headline. Hey, aren't you the dude who won the Powerball? You bought the school? Tyler laughed. I helped, he said. But the kids built it. He bought groceries, not because he needed them, but because sometimes the normal things anchor you to the earth. As he stepped out, a familiar Volkswagen Golf rolled in and idled like an old friend. Ozzy got out, waved, and crossed the asphalt with that easy gait, boots tracking stories nobody would believe if they were told by anyone else. They hugged like family who had found each other late and decided not to waste a minute. Tea? Ozzy asked. Always, Tyler said. Back at Ozzy's place, Sharon set out 2 mugs that looked like they'd been in the cupboard since the 90s. Tyler told them about a student, Maya, who wrote a song that hushed a room. He told them about another boy who kept tuning his guitar until the note matched his heartbeat. You're changing, Sharon said. I'm arriving, Tyler said. That's different. Ozzy leaned back. Money is a megaphone, he said. If you don't know your voice, it'll only make the noise louder. Tyler nodded. I thought I had to be heard. Turns out I needed to listen. Harmony Academy grew rules, the kind that protected, not restricted. The budget line for snacks was larger than the one for furniture. They painted a mural that didn't try to be perfect, only honest. Kids left their first heartbreaks in lyric notebooks. They found friends in drum circles and courage in open mics. Some went on to stages. Others went home a little steadier than they arrived. One evening, the power flickered during a thunderstorm. The kids laughed nervously. Tyler rolled out a cart of candles and battery-powered amps. Ozzy, older, softer at the edges, unbreakable at the core, took a stool. "Who's got a song that needs the dark?" Maya raised her hand. Her voice came out like a confession someone had finally forgiven. When the lights snapped back, nobody cheered. They just breathed. Tyler drove home past the LA skyline, steel and ambition clawing the same sky. He thought of his old live streams, the forced laughs, the comments begging for money, the jealousy disguised as emojis. He didn't hate that version of himself. He held him. He forgave him. He promised to keep walking. Money, he realized, is a light you have to aim. Unfocused, it blinds. Focused, it finds a face in the dark and tells it, "I see you." At midnight, his phone buzzed. "Dad, proud of you, son. Not for the money, for the man you're becoming." Tyler stared at the message until the words warmed his palm. He typed back, "Took me a minute. Thanks for waiting." Months later, a journalist asked Tyler for a quote about wealth. He said, "I used to think money was the finish line. Turns out it's a pair of running shoes. It matters what race you choose." He could feel Ozzy's laugh in those words. At a small benefit concert, Ozzy sat in the back row with Sharon, hands clasped. No VIP rope, no spotlight. On stage, Harmony kids traded songs and secrets. Tyler took a quiet seat 2 rows behind them. Not because he had to, but because reverence knows where to stand. During the final number, a boy with braces and too much heart sang the first lines of Dreamer. The room rose to sing with him. Ozzy didn't join in. He listened, eyes bright, as if the song were coming home from a long journey and knocking on the door. Some endings don't slam. They lean. That evening, the sky over Beverly Hills caught fire and then forgave itself into lavender. Tyler stood on a balcony, not his, not anyone's, just a place where height and humility can coexist, and watched the day fold neatly. Somewhere down a street that never tells all its secrets, a Volkswagen Golf clicked its cooling engine. Farther off, a red Aventador's taillights blinked once like a bow. In a living room that held more love than furniture, a couple laughed about nothing in particular, proving that the best wealth is the kind you trip over on the way to getting more tea. Tyler closed his eyes and heard it. The distant hum of a guitar, the drum of a faithful heart, and a voice that had carried millions across decades, singing softly enough to be intimate. "I'm just a dreamer." He didn't know if he smiled or cried. He did both, probably. That's how real things work. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to our channel Voices of Darkness and help us reach our first 1,000 subscribers. Like the video, share it with your friends, and drop a comment about your favorite moment. And if you love Ozzy Osbourne, prove your love. Share this video right now. Money fades. Fame blinks. But the music of the soul outlives us all.